So please let's continue from here. So I was saying, we're still in Genesis chapter 28, okay, from verse 13 to 15 now. The Lord is telling Jacob, said, I am the Lord God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. The land where you're lying, okay, I will give it to you and to your children. Okay? And your children will be as the dust of the earth, and will spread abroad to the east, west, north, south. And in you and in your seed, all the families of the earth will be blessed. These are the same promises that God made to Abraham. The same promises he made to Abraham. He reiterated these promises to Isaac, and now he's repeating it to Jacob. And I was saying that you can entrust your children, your posterity to God, and die knowing that God will take care of them. He's a covenant-keeping God. In fact, God is the only person you should hand your children over to. Because God is the only one who will not die. He doesn't die. Okay? He doesn't die. He doesn't forget. There will never be a time when he will grow old and maybe forget the promises that he made to you, or forget your children. He never dies. He will never die. So there will never be a time. The God of today. How do I put this now? The God we serve today is the same God Adam served, the same God Abraham served. It's the same God that your 10th generation will serve. He doesn't die. He's from everlasting to everlasting. He's ageless. He dwells in eternity. So why not entrust your posterity to him? I was saying something in the previous life before we were disconnected. There are people who are born Christian, and then somewhere along the line they deviate from the path. They try hard to go out of line, but there is something that keeps pulling them back. God keeps pulling them back. God never allows them to be lost, because he's a covenant keeping God. He's a covenant keeping God, and he never abandons whatever is entrusted into his care is safe. He will never abandon it. Even if you entrust your children into his care, you can rest assured that they are safe. All you need to do is tell him, Lord, I dedicate my posterity to you. Even when I am long gone, take care of my children. Keep them in the right paths. Never allow them to stray so far from you. Okay. Your spirit may be surprised that you will be long gone. Your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, no matter how hard they try to stray, the Lord will always pull them back to him, because he had made a promise to you. We see God watching over Abraham's grandson and reiterating the promise he made to his grandfather Abraham. So I am the God of your father Abraham and of Isaac. Okay, then he began to reiterate the same promises he made to Abraham. Okay, the same promises he made to Abraham. And he concluded by saying, and behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. Say, I will not leave thee. I will not leave you. Be an Abraham. Be an Abraham. be the reason why your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-grandchildren will be protected, will be covered, okay, by God, will be loved by God. Abraham was long gone, but for Abraham's sake, the Lord was telling his grandson, Jacob, say, I will not leave you. I will be with you anywhere you go. I will be with you. Do you know what it means for God to tell you, I will not leave you? That is you have great confidence. In fact, you should walk with your shoulders held high. That God himself tells you, I will not leave you. You're covered. You're covered. Because of Abraham. Covenants are important. If there's anyone you should make a covenant with, it is God. It is God. And I think the Lord was also letting Jacob know that he was on Jacob's side. Okay. This must have helped to assuage Jacob's guilt. And I guess at this point, Jacob may have been feeling guilty, a little bit guilty about stealing his brother's blessing. Okay, a little bit. So, and then he had left his father's house with nothing. Okay, he was going to a strange land, a land he had never been to before. So he must have had mixed feelings, you know. He must have been going through different emotions at that point. Not knowing what's next, wondering if he had made the right choice, feeling guilty that he had stolen his brother's blessing, you know, and all of that. So the Lord was also in a way assuring Jacob that he was on his side, that he, God, was on Jacob's side. Okay, that he, God, was on Jacob's side, because the blessings that were pronounced on Jacob were the blessings that were meant for the person who had the birthright. So God pronouncing these blessings, telling Jacob all of these things, meant that he approved of Jacob. So that was also important. It must have helped to assuage Jacob's guilt. Okay, it must have helped to assuage Jacob's guilt. And then verse 16, we're told, and Jacob awaked out of his sleep, and he said, surely the Lord God is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. And Jacob rose up early in the morning, and he took the stone that he had used as his pillow. He set it up, he made an altar and poured oil upon it. Okay? And he called the name of that place Bethel. And Bethel means house of God. Okay, house of God. And then he now, from verse 20 to 22, we're told, say, and Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. Can you see this? So if God will keep me, will be with me, will protect me, will give me food to eat, clothes to wear, and all of that, will preserve me so that I come back safely to my father's house, then shall the Lord be my God. In other words, at this point, the Lord was not Jacob's God. So Jacob was basically someone who had been born into the covenant. He had been told this is this, this is this, this is this, but he himself had not yet aligned completely. He had not yet built a relationship, a personal relationship with God. And of course, that is why when God when he had the dream, God had to introduce himself to Jacob. He said, I am the Lord God of your father Abraham and of Isaac. So that was the first time the Lord was coming to Jacob. Okay. So Jacob had not yet begun his spiritual journey. It was after that experience at Bethel marked a shift in his spiritual life, because that was where God himself appeared to him. Okay, that was where God himself appeared to him. You know, there are some pastors' kids who there are some pastors' kids who they are born into the church. Their fathers, their parents are pastors. You know, they grow up with this Bible. Yes, they do script. They do Bible study. They pray, and all of that. But they do not have a personal relationship with God. They have never really, you know, they just know that, okay, yes, this is this, but they've never actually gotten their own conviction of it. That was exactly how Jacob was before Bethel. He had been taught all of that. I'm sure his mother, Rebecca, must have taken her time to teach him, to tell him everything, you know. But he had not yet